Shalom, everybody.
How y'all doing? Shalom, shalom. So again, if there's a little glare, we're sorry. We're always out somewhere in the sun. So today we came, to add another video to, what's your purpose. One of the things that we do on our land is husbandry. Take care of the animals. That's another part of our purpose. And the purpose of that is to be self-sustainable when it comes to our foods and being able to eat without having to go to the stores, which is why we have goats, we have chickens. We don't eat rabbit, but we have rabbit, which we can sell to people, and they can do what they want to with the rabbits, and we can make money to further get more chickens, goats, cows, whatever. Which we all know that the chickens are going to be good for producing our egg, good source of protein. You can eat eggs every day, you can eat chicken every day. The goat, we know that's a good meat, which is another reason why we're trying to get sheep, because we love lamb, as well as cows and everything like that. So one of the things we want to speak about as far as like goats, one of the things that people say is that goats can eat anything, they'll eat anything. It's a lie. We found that out. We've had several goats. We did not know that goats cannot eat corn.
Well, they can eat it, just not a lot of it.
Right, not a lot of it, baby. Hold on, give us 1 second. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. Okay, so so they cannot just eat anything, and like my rib said, yes, they can't eat corn. Very little amounts spread over time, because a few of our goats that we had our first set, if anyone remembers from our Facebook, Nat Turner's, or earlier in our other YouTube videos, 3 of them had died literally because they kind of broke out when we were gone, and we had a bag of whole corn that we had for us for crushing up for cornmeal. Well, they got into the corn. We didn't know why they died. When we came back, they were dead, and no bite marks, nothing like that on them. But their stomachs were extremely big, or whatever. And one of them, their stomach had actually, but their stomach had blew open on the side. And we didn't know, and we had got in contact with, we had spoke about it, and KC, which is Moray Salim's wife, she had came on and gave about 4 mini seminars just that quick to let us know what went wrong and
what to do, right?
Yes, to treat it. And what she said, it was things like baking soda. Give me some more stuff here.
Well, I know she mentioned the using the needle to stick in the side of the goat, the stomach area to
release the air,
the gases.
Because they get bloated. Right,
and they don't typically pass gas on there. They don't just pass gas. So that's one way to help relieve the gas that's trapped inside them. Like you said, we didn't know that corn was bad for them. What we looked up afterwards was that goats love corn because it's almost like a candy to them, but it has to be given to them in moderation. But yeah.
Right, that devastated us because I wasn't trying to lose none of our animals, especially our first animals, because the first ones that we have on the land are the ones that we're going to be using for breeding. They're not going to be for meals. We're going to breed them, get milk from them. All our first animals are our breeders. Now, all their offspring, they're going to be in their own pen or have their own tags on them. We're going to know they get no names. They are going to be for dinner or for sale. You know what I mean? So that's what we really wanted to make sure people knew about when you're getting goats and sheep. I don't know if it's the same for sheep, but we know for a fact it's for goats that they do not they'll not move gas through their body like we do or a lot of animals do. So you got to be careful what you feed them. It's best to any animal you get, which we found out now, when you get them or before you get them, typically before, you want to make sure that you're checking what they can eat, can't eat, and if they do get a hold of something they don't need to, what are you supposed to do to fix it? Because we could have literally saved our animals. Right. Well, the 2 we had we were gone. We came back, they had already passed.
They were the youngest two.
The
I don't
two young ones.
Right. The first, their names were we called them Eeyore and Tigger. I don't know if y'all remember those names
The
from
white
the
ones and the brown
first
ones.
video.
Mm-hmm.
Or the other videos
Wow,
that we
back.
did earlier
Right.
on YouTube.
But then we have Oreo was our older one.
Right.
She, we were, just on the other side of the land for hours, and when we came back, she would come up to us. She got to where she just loved us. She would come up to us, but she wouldn't come up. So I'm like, okay, she left the land. Well, we found her, laying in one of her spots, and she wasn't really moving. We could, give her apples. She would eat. She would drink the water, but she would get up. She would lay on her side. We didn't know, we would push on her stomach a little bit. We didn't know what was going on with her for real. So we, that for about 3 hours, we just tried. We're like, okay, hopefully she'll be all right. We got her off the bed, and we had like a makeshift type of gurney with wheels. We put her in it, and hopefully, we put her back in our pen so nothing could just, get on her on the ground and stuff like that. Next morning, she had passed away. We didn't know what to do. Simply, we had baking soda in the house. We could have gave her some of that, stuck a needle on her side, and she would have survived. We just didn't. It was our ignorance. We know better now. We watch our goats and our animals every day. We don't just, we look for their stool. Make sure that the goats have pellets. When they use the bathroom, it's more pellets. It shouldn't be like a dog or nothing like that. Just these little things we've been learning. And even the chickens. With them, like their poop usually have some white from the calcium in it. If it's just runny and stuff, if you can find out which chicken that is, the chicken might be sick. You might need to quarantine it so it doesn't make the other chickens sick. When they get sick, they can molt heavier. Just different things. They can slow down their egg production. Just different things that we've been learning. Even rabbits. You think rabbits are cool? They just can eat grass and stuff like that? Nah, because all grass and hay aren't created equal. Cause they can eat something that's real good for them. Well, we think, but they get small, which one of our rabbits did. He started getting small. He's always been a little fat joker, but we know we was giving him his favorite grass, and we were giving him some other food supplement that was from the store. Well, we come to find out the same hay that our goats eat is like the main portion of the biggest portion of their diet.
Right.
We never knew that. And now we just got both of the bunnies eating that. His little stuff's gonna get fat again. It's been like 3 days. And so we're finding out these different things as we go. Death of your animals, your livestock, we'll say that. Get used to that because you're gonna lose some. Chicks, people always show you their little chicks when they get them. Oh, look at the little cute chicks. Well, out of about 20 chicks, you might lose 10. Not because you're necessarily doing something wrong, they're just young. And especially when they come straight from the egg, and they're so you're little, a couple days old, could be the air, could be they ate too much, didn't eat enough. Could be the water, they couldn't take the water. Or, whatever it is. Maybe they ate a bug that they seen floating around in there, and it made them sick. It just happens. I was devastated at first.
Yes. And also, I think as far as when it comes to getting younger animals from other people, sometimes just the move, especially when they're small, weeks old and things like that, sometimes just to move from one atmosphere or location to another, from one home to another home, it can possibly, shock them. And that could cause some sickness, to take place also from what we were told. We purchased some ducks and they were...
They were like 3 days old.
3 days.
3 or 4 days.
Yeah, and we purchased 4, and out of the 4, we have 1 left.
She is a big, huge, crazy quacker.
And she is. And what the owner told us is that something along those lines, as far as it could have been the temperature change. It could have just been, just because they were so young. They were only like 4 days old. 3 or 4 days.
But yet she sold them to us, and she knew that this was a possibility. Which us as buyers, again, you check before you go do these things, because if we would have checked, we probably would have found that out sooner. We probably would have told her to contact us in about a week or so. We were anxious to get some. Mama Bear wanted some ducks, and it was so hard to find ducks. So when we did, we were like, "Come on, baby, let's go get them." You know what I'm saying? So that's what we did. We know now, though, we won't go do that.
Right.
Excuse us. We just
We're
went
in traffic.
right. Yeah, we went, to Jacksonville today, and we're gonna stop by our creek on the way back towards the land. Like we said, we have a creek that we in the last video we were telling y'all about a creek that we have nearby that we get the animals water from. And if it ever comes to it where we dry up for our water, we can get that water too and purify it also, because it's a big, large creek. And again, we have a creek at the end of our land that we just haven't cleared to get to yet.
Right.
Go ahead.
One other thing I wanted to add about, like when you're getting your livestock and everything, well, not just livestock, not just the livestock, but I'm going to say livestock. When you're purchasing them, try to go to where they're living, so that you can see the living conditions of that animal, because sometimes if the living conditions aren't good and they're constantly in their own feces or around their own feces, their food is around feces, or the other animals are sick, you may not know. Your animal may look healthy at the moment, but then when you get it home after a few days, it dies, or could infect your other animals because they were already sick, and either the owners didn't know or they knew and just didn't tell you, the previous owner. So yeah, that's important also, to try to go to where you're going to purchase the animals from, so that you'll know what their living conditions look like in the other animals that they're around. You can see, if they're vibrant or not, or if they look like something is wrong with them, and you can also see what the owner is feeding them.
And we ask a lot of questions. Excuse me. We ask a lot of questions. Like we're like little children when we go to people we find that have animals. We ask them so many questions, and if the person can't answer certain questions, like what do you normally feed the animal? If they can't answer that question, you might want to you might want to speak to them a little bit more, just so you don't make them feel crazy. But you should just go ahead about your business, because if they don't know specifically what they feed their animals, how can you keep track of what may make them sick or not? Because you may feed your animal one food and they drop weight. You feed them another one, they gain weight. Mm-hmm. But if you're not keeping them on a set thing, and then you don't know, you haven't wrote these down, whatever, how would you know? And if they don't know, how can you know? Just like our security, well, our dogs, I call them our security because they're our first line of defense. I had them on one dog food, keeps them nice and healthy, growing them up. They haven't died, so they're good. But I was like, okay, I need them to get bigger. I want them to get more swole. Especially with them running, they run all day, damn near. So they burn off a lot of energy. So I switched their dog food. It's just a more higher performance dog food. So all the nutrients and stuff that they burn off because they running so much and get exercise all day, it just kind of replenishes that. With this new dog food, I noticed they can't eat as much of it as they used to, as the other dog food, and their coats are already changing. It's only been like 5-6 days, and you can see the boat getting on them. So that's what I wanted, because they run so much. But again, you won't know these things, or the person you buy your animal from won't know these things. They're not actually, they're not active in their animals' lives. Some people just they make the animals just to sell them. Mm-hmm. They don't really care. Then you got some people who just love animals, and they sell them, but they love animals.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure you're getting your animals from an animal lover.
If at all possible.
If at all possible. Now, you don't care, you can get some for real cheap that people are just trying to get rid of real quick, and you're just great with animals, you can go ahead and build them up. Hey, that's great too. You know what I'm saying? Do that, but I wouldn't want to take a risk. This is my preference. I don't want to take a risk on a sick animal, especially you spending $150, $250 on goats, and it gets home and it dies. Mm-hmm. It's probably different for like a $2-3 chicken from Tractor Supply. I don't like to waste any money. We're trying to, build. We don't want to waste anything. So I mean,
we've reached our destination.
Yep. So that's all. We didn't want to just sit here for, forever just talking about anything. But we want to make some content for y'all so we can speak with y'all, because again, our purpose is to raise our animals to get as much livestock as we can healthy. So eventually we can sell some livestock, chickens, goats, sheep, cows, whatever.
Or
Because
possibly trade.
and also trade, because we all know that the way it's going, the barter system is going to be here sooner than we think, especially when the government can't provide you change. You know what I mean? So, people need to get those skills together. And if you don't have no animals, you can't feed somebody. They're not going to give you ammo if you need it, or bows, or they're not going to make you a weapon, a sword, if you can't even get them 2 chickens, you have nothing for them. So, whatever, like that. Again, we're going to get better at these things. I don't really know how to end them. Yesterday she gave me a segue to find that scripture for me, but we reached our destination. And
how about this? With the next video, maybe we'll talk about movies that are kind of like showing
right.
things that could possibly happen, or the end time movies, or the world going into a pandemic,
Right.
or
like The Walking Dead.
Right.
Boy.
Right. So that'll be something we talk about in the next video. Different movies that we've watched that shows like different scenarios of like what's happening now, and something like that. So
right. So that is it. Is it?
yes.
Okay, that's it. All right, shalom, y'all. Next time.
Shalom.